I promised myself I was coming through this experience stronger. I vowed to be unwavering with my dedication to mental and physical health after cancer. I envisioned a life of peace, and I was reaching for it. My last chemo treatment was right around the corner. The enemy I'd pictured pulling a sneak attack on me was losing. My healthy cell cancer fighters were kicking in the swinging doors like an old Western movie and smoking those cancer cells one by one. They were doing the physical work. The least I could do was the mental Olympics. The unexpected gift of mental fortitude feels like a secret in the breast cancer sisterhood community. Let's vow to one another to accept positive energy only, including from our brains to ourselves.
Drop the mic. It's over with.
That's it.
End the podcast. She dropped the book. Drop the mic. We out of here.
I didn't want to drop your mic, so I dropped the book.
You should please don't ruin the book. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 19. You're here with me, Trey Tipton, and my boy VC2.
What up?
Today, man, we got a great episode with one of the most incredible people. You want to tell them who the special person is?
So the Cara Sapida. I think every week we say the because our guest's been hitting, dude.
Been hitting, bro.
Guest's been coming through. But Cara is a news reporter here in Pittsburgh. She's a mother. She's our first female guest on the show, by the way. So breaking some barriers here. And she's a great first guest because her story is insane. What she's overcome. She just released a book, and it's about her journey with breast cancer and beating the most deadly form of breast cancer and how she did that. So I don't know how you felt about the conversation, but I felt like it was...
The conversation was beautiful, man. Like she told a lot of good things. She said a lot of good things, man. And she gave a little nugget here or there about her book and whatnot. And then we also got a nugget here on our end for you guys at the end. So please make sure that you pay attention. And at least if you don't watch the whole thing, skip to the very end. You know what I mean?
Don't do that. Watch the whole thing. The algorithm needs you to watch the whole thing.
We do need you to watch all of it, though. You know, every like, every share counts. You know what I mean? And we mean that, though, for real. Every like, every share counts. So again, if you can help us in any way, we'd greatly appreciate that. Like, share, subscribe, every which way possible. And also, check us out on Spotify.
Yeah, we're on all the podcast apps. I just realized that we weren't really streaming on all of them, and I've been telling everybody we were. I just thought it, I thought it was sending it, and I had to, link them. So we're on all the podcast apps. Stitcher, iTunes, podcast apps, Amazon Music, Spotify, and then obviously YouTube. So, and I think there's a couple other miscellaneous ones that I'm not sure anybody uses. But if you're listening on one of those, hello. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, follow along. Follow us on Athletic Aesthetic Pod on all social medias. Today's interview is something that you don't have to be a woman. You don't have to be somebody who's fought cancer to relate to the story. It's a story of perseverance, a story of overcoming, and being in a dark place and coming out on the other side. And I think you and I can both relate to that.
100%.
Anybody watching this can. And if you haven't, congratulations, but buckle up because
it's coming.
Life happens.
Life does happen. Life happens fast, and she's definitely a survivor, man, more than anything, but she's also a fighter. So get ready for a great story, man. We're about to turn up with a beautiful, strong, intelligent person that's going to show the world that she can do anything, but not only that, show you that you can do anything. So we're looking forward to this podcast, and we hope you are too.
That's it, man. I'm excited.
So we are Athletic Aesthetic.
You always screw this name.
I do every time, bro. I can't win here, bro. We are Athletic Aesthetic, and we love you. Holy shit.
Thank you for coming in. It's such a pleasure and honor to have met you recently and to have you now here in the studio. And I know Trey's equally excited.
I'm very excited. Very excited.
We've been sitting here for a minute now, and I feel like we've been reserved on talking because we're so excited. We want to ask you all these things. But we wanted to make sure that we were actually capturing it.
And I want to ask you guys all these things. So here we go.
Let's have a good conversation.
Right.
I think that's what it leads to.
I'm excited. So,
Cara,
thank
you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here. This is incredible. I want to start here with you and just give you a minute to introduce yourself briefly. Let them know who you are, what you're about, and we'll go into your story and what you got going on here and all that.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. I'm a little nervous because I'm always doing the interviewing, so this is a first for me. And I am a local TV news reporter. I'm a mom of 2, and the day before yesterday, I launched a book called Not the Breast Year of My Life about going through breast cancer during a divorce, during the pandemic. And a trifecta of hardships. And so I was nervous about launching the book, and the last time I talked to you guys, about a month ago, you both did not mince your words when you said, what are you waiting for? Go home and do it. Just hit launch. And sometimes, somebody needs that feedback and that
100%.
kind of support. And so I did it.
Yeah, when I asked you to come on this show, you were like, I don't know, like I'm not really into sports as much as your guests usually are. Yeah. And you're like, I'm not really into fashion. And then she shows up, like
Swag.
swagged out.
I said, I am not athletic and I am not fashionable.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me on your show.
Listen, I totally understand where you're coming from, but just from like meeting you a couple times now and hearing your story, there's nothing more relatable to athletes than, going through something, and you've been through the most extreme something that you can go through. 100%. And I think anybody watching this would be able to relate and learn something from you. So really, again, happy to have you here.
I appreciate you saying that. When I was thinking about how other people might relate to my book that aren't breast cancer survivors or even women, I think one of the biggest takeaways is how I gained mental fortitude. And I was thinking, how do most people gain mental fortitude, right? And I'm like, well, one common way is if you're an athlete and you set a difficult goal for yourself, you start training, and you if you achieve your goal, you come out of the other side stronger, right? Well, for me, I didn't want this goal. I didn't want to have breast cancer to get stronger. But, you put one step in front of the other.
Yeah.
And you come through the other side stronger. Do I wish that that's the path that I took to become a stronger person mentally and physically? Hell no.
Right.
But you could be bitter about that, or you could just look at it as a blessing.
You could be bitter or you could be better, and she chose better.
Yes.
She chose better.
The amount of sound bites that are going to come from this.
Listen, I'm
ready
telling
for it.
you, she is a walking viral video.
I chose better. I love that.
That's amazing. So let's rewind a little bit and kind of shape you out.
Okay.
Growing up, I know you're. This is the other connection to sports here. You went to Woody High.
I did.
Okay,
What?
so like
You
She
didn't
went to
know
Woody
that?
High?
football capital of like
She went
Pennsylvania.
to
so
WOODY. Woody High.
Yeah.
I know this, okay? Bear with me. I'm not a Woody High myself. I'm not.
Okay.
But I had at a time, my stepbrother, he went to Woody High, and that chant, because they went to the playoffs pretty much every year when we were in high school, you know what I mean? But that chant, they screamed that like at the top of their lungs. WOODY. Woody High. That's how I know it. Sorry, I got a little bit off topic, but yeah.
Yes,
So what
proud.
was growing up in Pittsburgh like for you? What did that look like?
Yeah, I grew up in Turtle Creek. I loved my time at Woody High, and my graduating class is full of incredible humans that are doing incredible things right now. And so I'm actually reading to, I think it's a group of kindergartners in the Woodland Hills School District coming up next month, and I'm excited to do that. Circling back to this book and why I wrote it, because connecting is everything in life, and connecting even now as an adult is hard, It is hard meeting new people and finding new friendships. And through my story, I've connected with people all over the world. And that doesn't happen every day, right? How lucky am I to find somebody in Australia and in the UK saying, by sharing your words with me, I feel more seen. And I didn't realize somebody was going through the exact same thing I was going through, because sometimes it's hard to explain your thoughts and feelings. And I'm happy to be that voice for people. But yeah,
Makes sense.
I do.
So other than your book,
Yeah.
what is your favorite other books to read, and or what's your top 3? Better question. What's your top 3 books?
Ray, that is a hard question.
I like
Are you
hard questions. I'm
kidding
good at
me?
it.
So glad you didn't ask
What are
me
you,
that.
a journalist?
Yeah, right?
I read Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth years ago. It's like this big, and it's incredible. Highly recommend it.
Okay.
I like mystery novels and suspense novels and stuff that you can escape into to like escape from the real world, because life is hard enough, you know.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Did you have like a core friend group or people that like, what were you in any extracurriculars or?
Yeah, I mean, I have the best group of friends from childhood, you know, and we're still friends to this day.
Wow.
From Woodland Hills. We had our reunion a couple of years ago, and everybody came out, man, because we all loved each other. We all loved each other, and still support each other to this day. And I think that that's why when the job opportunity came, because I was living in Florida at a TV station down there, for me to work in my hometown, I thought, you know what? How lucky am I to have this opportunity?
Right.
Do I stay in this sunshine, you know, in the land by the water, or do I take a leap of faith and come home to Pittsburgh? And maybe it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because the way that Pittsburghers support other Pittsburghers is incredible.
It's really different. Yeah.
It's
It is
very
different.
different. And I got a lot of appreciation for what you did. Also, what you did, Vinny, for getting out of Pittsburgh to see how much you appreciated Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I didn't appreciate it as much when I was born and raised here,
Right.
as much as I did when I came back the second time around. I think I definitely took for granted the city and just those
100%.
people I knew here, and yeah.
Do you think a lot of people feel that way? Because I think a lot of Pittsburghers feel that way.
I think so. I think we're a lot tougher than what people really understand outside of Pittsburgh. Like, in order for you to live in Pittsburgh, you can look outside right now and be like, okay, you got to be somewhat strong mentally to be here on a consistent basis. And on top of that, they say that you're either Pittsburgh strong, you're blue collar. That it's not just what you do physically. It's also emotionally. It's mentally, right? Every day that you wake up, you don't know what the weather's going to be like. You deal with bipolar weather, but it shows that you have to be somewhat strong to get through just being here in the weather. And then on top of that, the people here are also very strong. So when we go other places, you could tell the difference.
You Pittsburghers, you know, we are a group of people who stems from salt of the earth people. Like, I can remember when I was younger, my great aunt said to me, when I was younger, we had to brush our teeth a lot because when I sat on my front porch, my teeth would get covered in black soot, you know, from the steel mill down the street. And I'm like, wow, can you imagine having to come back inside to brush your teeth just to go about your day?
Now they sell it as charcoal toothpaste. Make money off that.
Come on. So we was on to something before anybody was on to
Pittsburgh's
something.
a pioneer place.
Pioneer. They don't know nothing about that charcoal toothpaste. We got the
Where do you think that came from?
1960s.
Exactly.
Straight from the steel mill.
Yeah, bro.
From East Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to a home near you.
In-
Yeah.
Right near
That's
you.
why all the
man.
steel mills closed down, dude. They're just
Listen.
like, listen, the toothpaste industry, that's where it's at. Okay.
I got this big inkling, man. The things are going to change in the world as they already are, but Pittsburgh's going to rise again in some type of way, either steel again.
Yeah, no, I think it already is, dude.
I think it
it's
is.
technology. I think it's, but I think that Pittsburgh is, like you said, very connected and supportive. And I think that as we move more into like an AI future and internet-based future, that human connection is going to be at an all-time importance. And if you're ahead, if your culture is already, you know, if you're cultivating that in your city, then when people are searching for that, we'll be the hub for that. You know, like the human connection will be the future of.
100%.
I think it was like 6 months ago, Josh Shapiro came to town. He was the attorney general still. He wasn't the governor. And he did this big press conference in Lawrenceville talking about Pittsburgh is the tech capital of the world. And he wants people to know that outside of Pittsburgh and inside of Pittsburgh. Like, do you know what's happening in your backyard? Some of the most powerful tech companies on earth are right here in Pittsburgh. And I was sitting there going, that's great. That's cool.
I seen that the other day. We actually got rated one of the top most innovative cities on the come up. And then also I looked in terms of natural disasters because you know the world's crazy right now. I'm like, where is like the most safest place?
Is it here?
It is Pittsburgh, PA is the most safest place in terms of natural disasters. So now when I talk to my girl and she's like, we want to move, I'm like, wait.
But
No,
we're
you don't.
safe.
But we're safe.
My son's like, are we going to get hit with a hurricane? I'm like, no, bud, we are not going to get hit with a hurricane. You don't have to. Are we going to get an earthquake, Mom? No, we're not going to. So you're right.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, we're winning. I think we're winning.
so.
We're safe here.
We might not have all the people of LA and San Diego, but they got to worry about earthquakes.
I don't know though. Did you see that football game in Batman when the stadium was like falling apart?
See, but that's the only
Like, we're
thing,
Gotham
man.
City, I
the only
guess.
thing that could stop
That's
us
our
is a
only
super
earthquake.
villain. And we got a bunch of superheroes around here
Oh,
anyway, so
stop.
we ain't worried
That was a
about
fake
nothing.
movie too. So
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And this is Gotham City. Wow, that's
Yeah.
it. Gotham City.
yeah,
I didn't just realize that.
yeah, dude. That's why AJ Burnett's Batman. I think. Sorry, Cara.
Look, I knew you were going to talk about sports.
She's sitting there like, I don't know.
What do
But
I
yeah.
say about AJ Burnett?
Yeah, honestly, that's all I know is that they call him Batman and that he told someone to sit the F down and he made T-shirts out of it. Anyways, back to you, Cara.
Okay.
Thank you again for being here and
I'm so
dealing
happy
with
to
us.
be here. Thank you so much.
We're a
for
lot to
having me.
handle.
I
I'm
love
sorry.
to talk sports.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it just stemmed from us talking about, you were saying your childhood and, we kind of went off on this tangent about whatever. But so when did you know that you wanted to be in media, reporting, telling stories like you are now?
So
Sorry,
that's okay. I'm glad it wasn't mine.
I'll fire myself.
I've always wanted to be a news reporter. I started writing stories when I was in second grade. That's when I decided I was going to write a book someday. I never thought it would be like the breast cancer route that took me there, but it's always been in the back of my head. And I love to be a storyteller. I think that everybody has a story. And as soon as I sat down talking to you two, I was like, when are we going to write your book? When are we going to write your book? When are we going to write your book? Everybody has a story to tell. And I think that as a reporter, I love asking the questions that gets you to think deeply and say, hey, you know what? I do have a story to tell. I never thought of it that way. So that's one of my favorite things about being a journalist is, I'm happiest at the end of the day when I have made a difference in terms of telling the world about some incredible human and what they had to share. It's actually a little bit hard for me to be on the other side of that because we're taught as journalists to never put ourselves in the story, to be objective, to remain like that third party, and I take that to heart. I try very hard to be an objective reporter who always tells two sides of the story, and in 2023, you better be that way or you will get called out on it. And so I'm happy to lead the charge there. I'm going to continue to be an upstanding journalist. But a part of that is telling myself, okay, but just this one time, you're going to have to let people ask you questions. And that is very hard.
Yeah.
And I understand that for sure. It makes you uncomfortable at times when you get asked deep questions, and being on the opposite side of things when playing sports, man, we both understand that when that news reporter puts the microphone in your face, hold on, let me think about the answer. Okay, got it. There we go. You know what I mean?
You have a story about that, right?
I got a couple stories about news reporters, but we ain't gonna get into them. I'm gonna let some people survive in Pittsburgh. I ain't gonna say too much.
You are full of grace. That is very nice of you.
Everybody deserves grace, man. And at the same time, I wanted to ask you this major question. So you love stories, which led you into writing your own story, and your story is incredible. And I want to thank you for sharing your story because I know that's very hard for anybody, right?
Thank you.
So as you're going through and you're asking people about the things they're going through and you're reading these people, what is your favorite thing about learning new stories?
Ooh. There are more than one way. There's more than one way to learn about the world. You could read 1,000 books, but if you aren't out there meeting people, you'll never have a depth of understanding of outside of your circle. Oftentimes when I'm out in the middle of nowhere talking to people who have unique stories to tell, I think I would have never met this person in a million years if it wasn't for this job. And so I am grateful for that opportunity. Every walk of life, every age, every obstacle that somebody has faced, I have met them along the way. Unfortunately, I meet a lot of people on their darkest day, on their worst day of their life, but that means I've seen a lot of perseverance. And, after I was diagnosed, a friend of mine started a GoFundMe I didn't know they were doing. And by the time I looked at it, it had taken off. And I noticed all of these comments from people that I interviewed years ago. And they mentioned how on their worst day, I came into their life and they remember the way I made them feel and the way I treated them. And I hadn't really cried, in the weeks leading up to that moment. And I just lost it because I thought, I'm so glad that they felt that I had good intentions and that, they could trust me with their story to the extreme, to the, how do I want to say that? My nose is rushing. Don't air that.
We'll cut that out. Don't worry.
We cutting this?
We'll cut that out.
We had to take Brian's nose out. He
Brian
was
was
sniffling
all
too.
day, I was like,
You had to take his sniffle, so
Yeah.
you don't think this is going to be good for your viewers?
I don't know. It's real.
yeah, it's really like
If you didn't ask me to crop it out, I'd probably just keep it in.
Okay, we're gonna crap. I'm gonna hold on to this though.
You could shoot it if
What do
you
I want
need
to
to.
say?
there you
Perfect.
go.
You almost made it.
Did I?
Yeah, it's right there. Where were
I
we?
was so close. I was just gonna say, the fact that people went out of their way to
Right.
take a moment out of their life to say something nice about me after they hadn't seen me in years is a testament to it being worth it, the energy that I put into making people feel safe and that I was going to not exploit them and do my very best to help them because it is hard. Journalists at this time are really getting a tough rap. Maybe it's the fake news. I don't know what it is, but it is very hard to be a reporter in 2023. And I've always hoped to change that narrative, one interview at a time.
Right. Yeah.
I think you're doing that. I really do think you're doing that because you're sharing your story, right? So that's letting people actually get connected to who you are, not just on TV, but who you are as a person. You know what I mean? And that story is going to save a lot of lives. It's already doing so. Because from what I hear, people aren't just buying one book at a time. They're buying 2 books at a time. So that's huge, man. And
Yeah.
that's something that, hey, if you're doing stuff like that, that means people are listening and they're paying attention, right? And I'm a big believer everybody has a story, but it's about who's listening. So with that said, right, you had to share your book. You had no choice.
I love that perspective because I asked myself in the very beginning, like, why did God give a journalist breast cancer if I'm not meant to tell my story? So pretty early on, I started writing it, but that doesn't mean that, I'm going to get it out there. And it doesn't mean that people are going to receive it. And the fact that people are buying 2 books, which is funny that you noticed that, that just means the world to me because it means that God is letting me use my voice for this exact purpose. What more can I ask for to come through that hardship with this opportunity? Because it would have been very easy to just close the door on breast cancer and walk away. I came super close to that.
You kicked its butt, man.
I guess, yeah, you're saying you came super close to just being done with cancer and just moving on with your life and not sharing the story and not telling that. So what do you think it was that made you go the route of telling the story?
So I was sitting on it for a while. I think that I realized that so many women were reaching out with the exact same questions. And I noticed I had asked those same questions early on too. The questions I was asking, people were now asking me. So I became that resource. And I thought, gosh, if I just put this book into the world, a lot of these women could have the questions answered from a friend who's been through it before. And I think it was just cathartic. Like it was part of my own healing to get it all down on paper. And I guess by helping somebody else, maybe this horrific journey will have been worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because it was horrific. And I just think that if I can change the narrative on breast cancer in general and let people know that it is ugly, it is not pink ribbons, stop glamorizing this. It is stealing our friends and our wives and our mothers. It's not glamorous. Stop buying pink shit.
I think so. When I lost my grandmother to breast cancer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was 3 years old. And
I'm sorry.
Thank you. And it's one of those things that like I knew her briefly, like in my like actual memories. I know her more so of like what people told me, and then later down the line, I lost my dad to colon cancer. And then my grandfather on my mom's side just went under surgery last week for colon cancer as well. And I lost my dad's dad to lung cancer.
Wow.
So cancer has ravaged my family, and it's a constant scare for me because I'm always, it just feels like it's always around the corner. And I feel like I live my life that way with like a clock. I don't know if that's healthy.
Yeah. It's not.
It's not, but it's hard to ignore it when you see it all around you. But to see you sitting here on the other side of that is so encouraging for me. And so that's, I just want you to know that for me personally, like hearing your story and getting to know you, it isn't just a cool story for me. It's very personal. And I don't mean to make this about me at all. Like you said, a professional journalist should not do that. And I'm doing that right now.
No,
but like,
you're great.
I just wanted to let you know, like I'm honored that I know you and that to see what this is going to do for people, it's going to be crazy.
Well, I'm so sorry for how it has ravaged your world, but that goes to speak to like cancer is a thief, is what it is. And if I can humanize it and have people see it as like from the perspective of a mom trying to raise her children, trying to like live life while this beast is like trying to take you down. That's how it is for family after family. And I think that it's just difficult to talk about. Yeah, there's like a million cancer books out there. I get it. But if we don't humanize it and show the real toll that it is taking on people in 2023 and figure out a way to speak to it, to fund research for it, we're not moving forward in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want anybody to capitalize off of cancer. That is critical.
Yeah.
Like, if you know how it's affected your family and you leave this interview and think, you know what, I'm not going to really buy anything cancer related ever again because some business owner is making money and it is doing nothing to make me safer, my parents safer, my neighbor safer.
You know, the reason I brought that up about my grandma was because in college, that was when the whole like pink was like a very new thing. Like 2009 to 2012 was when I was in college playing football. And so I was always decked out in the pink and everyone's like, why? And I was like, my gram passed away. And they're like, well, where does the money go? And I'm like, I really started to think about it. And I'm like, I have no idea. Like I just pay the extra $10 because it's pink. I don't know where that goes. And so, yeah, it's one of those things, like you said, I think we like kind of make it glamorous when it's, you know, it's the furthest thing from that.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about your book and what you said as well, man. Your book shows choice, right? And everything that we do, and especially when something happens to us, we have choices to make, right? You could be the victim or you could be the fighter. And there's two choices. You pick one, and the victim typically loses. Reason being is because that victim decides that this is going to take control over me, so I'm going to let it take control.
Yes.
But that fighter has to stand on her 2 feet and gets punched a little bit, gets beat up a little bit, and then you see Rocky Balboa keep getting up.
Get back up again.
And you like, okay, well, it's time to get back on up again, right?
Yes.
So that's why I love your book and what you're doing is because it shows choice. You chose to be a fighter when you could have been a victim, right? You could have been another statistic. You could have been, but you're not.
So when I was thinking about how to explain this book to people, I started thinking it feels like a love letter to my kids. And I know that that's not how you should be promoting a book, but they were everything through treatment for me. The world was shut down. My ex-husband was gone. Nobody could come and visit me because it was COVID times. And like the fear of getting COVID on a chemo immune compromised system was just terrifying. And so I was home with my kids. And what a blessing, first of all, to have that uninterrupted time with them, because when you go through chemo, you have strong days too. You're not just sick all the time. So you're sick, and I try to make sure women know you get back up again, and then you get stronger until your next treatment. And these kids and I just cuddled and played games and cooked. Like we made the most of this time together, and to have a 2 and a 4-year-old so empathetic and kind that they would know on the days that I wasn't well that we could just cuddle in bed. They didn't complain. They didn't, cry about it. We would just eat our meals in bed. Can you imagine that? Like how lucky was I to go through that? And so now 3 years later, on Sunday, I launched the book into the world. I was very nervous for how it would be received, like fly or flop, right? Just like that famous saying, like, oh, but what might happen? But what could happen? Like, what if you fly? So I launch it into the world. I don't know what's going to happen. I walk away from my phone for a little bit, come back to my phone, and it's like, your book is the #1 new release. I'm like, what? In breast cancer. A couple more hours go by, and it's like, your book is the #1 book in breast cancer. I'm like, what? Mind blown, super emotional, couldn't believe it. And then my ex-husband brings the kids back that night. And so I was very excited to have them back with me, and so I could tell them, the big news. And I said, guys, I have news to tell you. Mommy's book is the #1 breast cancer book on Amazon. And my son jumps into my arms, and he holds me so tight, and he doesn't say anything for a minute. And then he goes, you did it. And I'm crying. My ex-husband's crying. We're all crying. And I thought to myself, if I wake up tomorrow and I'm no longer a bestseller, I am fine, because it does not get any better than this moment. My son, who was, with me through this whole experience, and he remembers it all, is proud of me. And God bless my daughter. Thank God she doesn't remember it all. It's a blessing that she was only 2.
Right.
We make jokes about mommy being bald.
Right.
Mommy looked like a beautiful hamster, she told me.
That's amazing.
Wow. She said that? Yes. Kids are ruthless, yo. I gotta admit, kids don't care about nothing.
Kids are ruthless. They will humble you very quickly.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, like, just to look at them every day and just know that, you persevering through that, like the life lessons they're learning at such a young age, watching you navigate. They may not, they definitely don't fully understand it yet, but when they, grow up and not only just read your book, but, just see the legacy that you have left behind. One thing that I don't know where I heard this the first time, but it's just the concept that, people don't really care what you accomplish. They just care about how you make them feel.
Yes.
And that's what they remember about you. So, the fact that you let them see you go through that, and, they were a pivotal role in that. I think that's something they'll hold on to forever. And you guys are going to have a beautiful, friendship once they grow up, because, kids are only kids for a few years, and then they're adults, and you got to live with them the rest of your life. So
seriously,
sometimes I think parents forget that these will become adults that I have to have friendships with as well. So I want to talk also just about the book specifically.
Okay.
Where in the book, when you're writing it, do you start to feel like this is not only for other people, this is for me?
That's a great question. I thought you were going to ask something else. Look at you guys catching me off guard.
That's a
I
great
thought you were going to
question.
ask me if it's for other people, and I was going to say it is for people who experience hardship. And I have learned since publishing the book, in just like one day, how many people experience layers of hardship. How many of us are going through one of life's most difficult challenges while going through another hardship? Nobody really talks about that. I got a phone call yesterday from a woman who, said that your book speak to me because I was let go from my job the week that my husband moved out, and the week that my mother, who had Alzheimer's, didn't recognize me for the first time.
Just got goosebumps.
Right?
It's a lot.
And I went through breast cancer while going through a separation during a global pandemic. And so what I hope to do is to help people reframe hardship, right? So for me, if I hadn't been going through that separation, I wouldn't have joined a gym. If I hadn't joined a gym, I wouldn't have pulled muscles. If I hadn't pulled those muscles, I wouldn't have needed to stretch that morning, and I found a lump that was the most aggressive form of breast cancer there is. How many days or weeks or even months would have passed before I found it? So instead of saying, oh man, why does life have to kick me when I'm down? I would like to look at it from, if life didn't kick me when I was down, I might not have ever found this lump early enough. And if we can all do that with our hardships, maybe that's how we find resilience.
That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
That perspective is just different.
Oh man, God's talking right now, man. I'm over here just listening. That's a beautiful thing, man. I can't even lie. Yesterday I wrote a quote and it said the quote was, "Adversity, right, just needs time to be watered with patience, hard work, and perseverance, right, to grow into opportunity."
Yes.
And that's something that, as you said that, it spoke to me because you did just that. Like, maybe that's why God put you on this earth to begin with. Like, you had to battle something that most people would quit. And now you're best-selling book for breast cancer. Come on. Walk that walk and talk that talk. You're killing it right now. That's an extreme blessing, man. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, it's like so many people are going to hear this, right? And they're going to be like, okay, it's time to get back to it. Mm-hmm. So if you don't mind me calling you, I'm going to call you Balboa from now on. Instead of Cara, it's just Balboa because she keep getting on up and keep pushing forward. I like it, man. And
I'll take that nickname. You can call me that.
I'll be the only, me and he'll be the only two that ever call you that. They'll be like, why they call you Balboa?
That?
It's an inside thing. It's a team thing.
We're not telling you.
So an actual question as far as the logistics of writing a book that I had for you.
Yeah.
Around being a single mom with 2 kids and working. Yeah. When do you do this? What does that look like?
So I was waking up at 5 a.m. every day. Naturally, I wasn't even setting an alarm. Talk about the power of the mind to like, if I'm going to get this done, I got to find time to do it. Now, does my lawn need mowed? Yes. But is my book getting written? Also yes. So I made time for it. I would make my coffee, I would sit, and I would write. And also, the kids, when they would wake up, if I was still writing, again, they would just get in bed with me, let me finish writing. They were really along for the ride, every step of it.
Some good kids, man.
That's some really good kids. I hope I have good kids like that.
You're going to have good kids because they're going to be like you. They're going to be like you.
What was your go-to, like rough day, we don't feel like cooking?
Oh yeah,
like,
let's talk.
Where are you getting takeout from on that? Or like, what's your freezer
Thai
food?
Takeout. I love Thai food.
I'm a big fan of Thai iced tea, so I get what you. I respect that.
What's your order?
Pad Thai, Thai iced tea.
What spice level?
I'm like a 3-4.
Ooh, really?
3-4.
I thought bigger of you.
See, here's the thing, man. I like spicy, but I don't want to be so spicy my eyes start watering, my ears start tingling, because certain Thai food get deep, and you get
for
deep
me,
fast.
I can eat Thai, but like for me, it's the next day where I'm like, dang, I shouldn't have done
that.
that.
Wait, when I was in my 20s, I went out on a date with a guy and we got Thai food, and he ordered like a Thai 10, which I don't know if you know, like a Thai 10 is like stronger than a 10. I was like, oh, okay. I guess he loves spice, and he had sweat just dripping into his meal. I was like,
this man was trying to impress you.
Is this like the world's first ick back in the day? I was like, I can't get past this.
He over there trying to poke his chest out, sweating.
Yeah.
How you doing,
I
girl?
got this. I got it. It's all good.
See, and that's why I'm not going past 3-4. Because 3-4, I'm just spicy enough that I can still go on a date and be cool. I'm not sweating armpits all crazy. You feel me? So I'm a 3-4. I can hit a 5 on occasion, but if I go 5, anything past that, I need a water, Thai iced tea, maybe a couple Capri Suns, and then I'm good.
The date was ruined. So
Ruined.
I do that.
Can only imagine.
10?
Yeah.
A Thai 10? A Thai 10 is hard. That is difficult.
That's craziness.
That is, on any video game, that's level legendary. That's not even expert. Like, that's difficult.
Yeah. The people cooking that stuff are like, this guy.
What is he thinking?
Yeah.
The guys in the back are like, okay, we'll show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, you want a 10?
Yeah.
We got you.
Little Salt Bay.
And they're watching like from the back. Like, let's see how he handles this.
For sure.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And he definitely, if they'd have had YouTube or TikTok, oh, that man was on TikTok sweating, just slow motion.
Have you guys ever done the one chip challenge?
No.
So, okay, my friend, we're so sidetracked, and that's my fault. It's always my
I
fault.
love it. Keep going.
My friend Ely's like, Trey, you gotta try this. Now, this is the same dude who got me convinced. He was like, eat this habanero with the seeds in it. This is brotherhood for life. In my head, I'm like, okay, let's have this brotherhood for life. Man, I ate this habanero pepper, bro. I drank almost
Life
a
was
full
short
gallon.
after that.
Bro.
I'd rather not have any friends.
I don't know if we're gonna ever be friends again. I don't know if we
Eat
can be
friends
friends. I started crying. My mouth was hurting. And then you try to drink milk, and mind you, you know how I'm from a different place. So for me, man, you know how you do the water faucet and you turn it on? Well, I'm like gulping gallons of water and I'm still not satisfied. Like I'm hurting. So then he's like, bro, this is almost worse than the habanero challenge. Try the chip. I'm like, you know what? My health insurance ain't together, man. My mom, I just don't think this is something I should
The way
do,
my
man.
bank account is set up.
Smart man.
So I didn't do it. The bottom line is I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So did you try the chip challenge?
So I didn't. I bought 2 of the 1 chips. One for my coworker who does the Thai 10, and one for my ex-husband because I'm a giver like that.
Respectfully.
Thank you.
Respectfully.
And so my coworker.
She gives pain. That's what she said. She gives pain.
My coworkers all came over, and my coworker who, his name is Juice. He is fantastic with spice food. Like he's always like putting the hot sauce on stuff. So he did great. He handled it really well. And I told my ex-husband how great Juice handled it, and then I gave him his chip to try last summer, and we all sat out on the patio, and my kids were like cheering for him, and he really like entered it with a lot of swagger. I will tell you that. And very quickly, he was panicking, and he was like, involuntary tears just come in, and he ran into the house, and he was dumping milk, like it was everywhere, and I recorded it. And
Might have to get
we get
access to
along
this
well.
video.
We get along well, but in that moment, I was like, I'm sorry.
Now the name Balboa is starting to fit so much more because now she actually gets up and brings you pain, bro. Like that is, she's kicking butt over here, bro.
Yeah,
Work smarter, not harder.
100%.
love that.
You got to do a chip. Maybe we do that on the next podcast, the chip challenge.
Do it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, easy for you to say. As the guest, we're welcoming you back for a second episode.
Try it.
That's the type of
Yeah.
spice level that hits your heart. Like you
Yeah.
eat it and you're like, you feel like your whole heart and everything from your sternum is on fire.
Yeah, they say it's like hard to breathe. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing that.
all right.
You scared?
Yeah, terrified.
Okay,
That's
hey.
a reasonable fear, I think.
I can't blame you because I'm scared too.
Oh man. Well, I don't know how we got down this path, but I love it, and I
Me
love just
too.
hanging out with you.
Yeah, thanks.
I think your story is so insane, and there's no way we capture all of it on a 45-minute podcast episode. So, if anything, I want people to get your book, and I want them to read it. And you said Amazon is the place to find it?
Yeah, so right now it's on Amazon, the ebook and the paperback, and I think it will be available on other booksellers like Barnes and Noble. The process of publishing is self-publishing is very difficult. So I have all that set up, but I can't quite figure it out yet, to be honest with you. This is one of those things where like the book publishing world is very like inclusive and exclusive. It's very like, I'm like, hey, how do I do this? And everybody's like, oh, well, you'll figure it out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try my best. So right now it's just on Amazon. And I think that I hope that people, I hope there's a lot of different takeaways from the book. One of the like things that I don't talk about a lot that I hope people take away from it is that you don't always have to put on a brave face. I was thinking about that this morning. I did an interview, the only other interview I've ever done really, other than sitting with you guys here today, and my station interviewed me yesterday, but a year ago I did one. And
In your house, right?
yeah, and it's very difficult to watch this, seeing me very, very sick, bald-headed, swollen. Like, I don't know if people realize chemo, like, swells you up like a blowfish. And I put myself out there because I kept saying, like, I'm going to put myself out here if it gets one woman to take the time and call and schedule a mammogram. But I put on a brave face. And when I look at it, all I see is pain in my eyes. And I think that I hope people realize that you can be vulnerable and you don't have to put on a brave face all the time. And you can be unapologetically angry and sad about what hardship you're going through. And then people can help you, because a lot of people don't know how to help. A lot of people don't know what to do. And I'm like, yeah, don't buy any of the tchotchkes for sure, but like let people know how they can help. And you can't do that if you're always putting on a brave face. It's okay, man, woman, cancer, not cancer, to say, this sucks. I'm in the thick of it. I'm not going to just smile today, which is
Yeah.
what I was doing for a long time.
Sure.
Do you mind if I ask this question? It's a simple question. At what point did you say, you know what? Enough's enough. It's time to fight back.
During treatment, oh, that's great. I was in a really dark place in the very beginning. I tried not to complain. I was pretty dead set on pushing through and not letting it define me as it was currently defining me. Now I'm great with saying that this, despite writing this book and telling everybody about it, it still doesn't define me. I am a mother, I am a journalist, I am a friend, I am a storyteller, I am not just a breast cancer survivor. But in the moment, it was my world, and I was fighting breast cancer, and I still didn't want it to define me, I was like, I am gonna rise above this. I will keep getting back up. And chemo kept knocking me down, but then on the days that I felt strong, that's when I would write about the experience. That would help me get through to the next week. I felt like I was finding purpose through the pain. And because that clicked for me, I was like, okay, this is my purpose. So I'll be sick for a few days, and then I will take the strength that I'm going to get on those good days and run with it.
That's amazing.
You forgot one other thing you are.
What is it?
You're a superhero. Don't
I'm
forget
not
that.
a superhero.
You gotta be, because I'm pretty sure your 7-year-old child and your 5-year-old child can now get through a lot of adverse situations going forward as they get older because of the hero that they watch going through it. So I would say superheroes
You're
also
gonna
on that
choke me
resume.
out.
Would you agree?
Drop the song.
Drop it.
Turn me to a super
Hero. Make sure you put that in right there. You got me, my dude. Because you deserve that. You definitely deserve that. And there's a couple times in this we got to give her a round of applause.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The claps.
Yeah, we got to set up the soundboard for that. So
We'll get it.
just
We'll
got
get
that.
it. We'll get
I
it.
don't think I'm a superhero, but I do believe in that concept that you are only as strong as you find out you have to be. And I think I just rose to that challenge. Like, all right, I need to be strong. I'm going to be strong. And when I wasn't strong physically, I made sure I was still strong mentally. And I think as women, we often play small and we often try to be nice. And I was like, when I come through this, I'm going to be less nice. I'm going to be just as kind, but I'm not going to live my life playing it small.
Say that one more time for the girls in the back. I think the girls in the back need to hear that. Say that out loud.
And there's a
man.
lot of guys that need to hear
You know
that
what I
too.
mean? Like, there's a lot of guys that be like, hey, she ain't playing nice. You better back.
Yeah.
She giving out deadly chips and everything in between, man. Get ready.
Well, hey, speaking of pro transition right here.
Oh, do it again. Pass it back.
Because you are the pro.
Oh, no, we got to pass it the whole way down the carrot.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And she took it in. There it is.
All right, so this one, I don't even know if I shared this with you yet. I was talking to Brian,
Uh-oh.
okay?
Okay.
Our buddy BS.
Yeah.
And so we want to help get your book out. So we're going to buy 50 copies,
Let's
and
go.
we're going to give them away to people that watch this episode.
Stop it.
So we're going to figure out, I'll put a link in the description under this video, whether you're listening on Spotify or whatever platform, or if you're watching on YouTube. And the first 50 people to claim the book, we'll ship them out, and maybe you can come hang out with us and sign them or something. I don't want to volunteer you to do that, but maybe
I would
I'll
love
sign
to
it for
do
you.
that.
But yeah, so we're gonna try to get your book out as much as we can from our little production here in Pittsburgh, and
That means a lot to me.
for sure.
For sure.
Thank you so much. You guys are just always giving back. That's what I'm saying. You exude good energy. So I see why good energy is like boomeranging back to you guys.
Appreciate
Well, thank
that. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yeah, hopefully,
That is
hopefully
really
it lands in the hands of someone that really needs it.
I know somebody who
So if
needs
you're
it.
watching this
Really?
right now and you got someone who's battling breast cancer, any kind of cancer, going through some sort of life adversity,
Man or female.
all you got to do is click the link. It's going to be totally free to you. So just do it.
Click that link.
Brian said he read you guys. What part? I did maybe like the
emails.
email to my the emails.
I was getting choked up. I had to look away for a second. I said, get your stuff together, Trey. You good. You got this. It's a very beautiful email. Very beautiful emails.
That was an afterthought adding those was not in the original version a year ago, but I thought this really sums it all up. You know, the night I was diagnosed, I emailed my kids, and the last day of my treatment, I emailed my kids. And so I just pasted it. There's like, I don't think you'll find like a grammar mistake in my book because I'm a stickler, but there are some in the emails, but I just wanted it to be real. So they're the exact emails that I sent to my kids those days.
So you mean these people got to get that book?
That's in the book, right?
Those emails, yeah. They're in
So
there.
you heard it. Get that book.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
Yeah, someone in your life needs that book. I'm telling you right now. So identify them. Maybe it's you, and get the book for them. We got you.
Thank
Is there anything that you wanted to share or promote, or I mean, obviously, other than the book?
Give us like a quote to go out on that you like.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like a good quote you to go
Yeah,
out
is there
on.
something you want to share, maybe from the book?
Oh, what do I want to share? I have a whole chapter called Mental Fortitude.
There got to be something great in there.
Let's see what's in here. I do think that I could read you guys some. Okay, I'll read you something from Mental Fortitude since we talked so much about that earlier.
Tune in and listen. Tune in and listen.
Okay, here we go. Hellish is a hard word, guys. Each hellish week that I suffered through physically was followed up by a week of building back strength and mental fortitude to do it again. Unlike yoga, I didn't have years to work on this. I had to catapult myself here mentally in a short amount of time. I wasn't just enduring the prison sentence that was my life on lockdown during chemo or tolerating it. I was gaining tools to apply to the rest of my life. Overcoming adversity. Oh, no.
Run it back. We can cut it. Don't worry.
Yeah, leave that.
That's Anthony's job. He
Leave
good.
that, I
He
don't
ready
care.
to go over there.
The overcoming adversity tool isn't something you're born with or would eagerly sign up for, but it was tossed into my lap like a gift. I promised myself I was coming through this experience stronger. I vowed to be unwavering with my dedication to mental and physical health after cancer. I envisioned a life of peace, and I was reaching for it. My last chemo treatment was right around the corner. The enemy I'd pictured pulling a sneak attack on me was losing. My healthy cell cancer fighters were kicking in the swinging doors like an old Western movie and smoking those cancer cells one by one. They were doing the physical work. The least I could do was the mental Olympics. The unexpected gift of mental fortitude feels like a secret in the breast cancer sisterhood community. Let's vow to one another to accept positive energy only, including from our brains to ourselves.
Drop the mic. It's over with.
That's it.
End the podcast. She dropped the book. Drop the mic.
I
We
didn't
out
want
of
to
here.
drop your mic, so I dropped the mic.
You please don't ruin the book. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. We can get the mic right. We can get another mic.
Brian, we need some new
We're
mics.
going to take care of this mic.
No,
That was beautiful.
Incredible. I'm so happy that you came in. I want to definitely, this won't be the last time we talk, whether it's on our show here or in some form, but yeah, this was great. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for your book. Thank you for, wanting to change people's lives that even, people that you've never met before. And
Well, thank you guys for caring enough. That means a lot to me.
And your story is definitely going to help a lot of people, and we just want to be a part of that. That's why we're doing what we're doing, and as much as we can help, I'm thankful to be a part of that too. So however else we can help, let us know.
I hit my Trey Tipton soundbite 100%. Say less.
Next
Say
time,
less.
I'm interviewing you guys.
Hey, I'm
Hey.
with it. I'm with it. You got to win right there.
Yeah, good job.
This is like
Thank
my
you.
brother, and I just met him. It's crazy.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks for watching, guys.